Went to school in Glandorf here. A priest came over and he talked about St. Joe's College and that it was a good college to go to. I really didn't think no more out about that. So after I graduated from high school, I was a full-time farmer. That's what I did. And when I was 21, 3 years out, and I don't know today why I did this, I applied for college. I applied for one college at the end of May, and I said, if they accept me, I'll go, and if they don't, I won't. It was just like that. I wasn't very sure I was going to go, that I wanted to go. So anyways, they accepted me at St. Joe's College, Rensselaer, Indiana. So I went over there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very difficult for me. Like I said, I'm not a good reader, not a good writer. I majored in the only thing I could. I majored in math because I could always do the numbers.
Okay.
But it was very hard for me. I was just barely making the grades my freshman year. I just kind of skimmed along, and I made it through the freshman year. The sophomore year, I did two things a little bit different. First thing I did, I applied for an on-campus job. So I got a job. They put me in the intramural office. And what that did, that made me allocate my time better, because you know how that is. Sometimes maybe you're reading a book and you're thinking about something 10 miles away. But it made me more focused. And the other thing I did to help me, I decided to read a book a week. So I'd go to the library, and I read adventure stuff that would keep my interest, like all the Jack London stuff, Call the Wild, White Fang, all that stuff, Sherlock Holmes stuff. I read all that, and I did it the rest of the way through college. I read a book a week, and my grades started to improve. My second semester, sophomore, I got my first A. It was in a calculus class. So I just kept improving. When I was a senior, I was on the dean's list. So that was my college experience. Then right after college, I married Rita Schrader. She's my wife yet. We've been married, God, I got to think about this, how many years. We got married in 66, so anyways.
Okay, I can tell you, that's when I was born. So
Okay.
I can
That
tell you how
puts it in
long that is.
perspective.
Okay. Well, I was 25 when I got married. You know, I didn't start college till I was 21. So then I was a teacher. And I taught math and physics in the high schools. And I kept thinking about all this farming stuff. You know, after a couple of years, I couldn't get that out of my blood. I kept thinking about it. And I can remember the third year, we was living on Road 12 there where Mary and Loretta Hawker live at Glandorf, Glandorf parishioner here. And we start looking for a place to buy, a place with some acreage. Because I couldn't get that farming thing out of my blood. We was looking for like 40 acres or something like that. And I can remember I was teaching then, and I got when you're a teacher, you get a mailbox, you get all kind of stuff in your mailbox. And one of the things that came in there was things about a National Science Foundation grant for an academic year. Now that's quite a grant. That's one you don't have to pay back. All your university fees are free. Plus they give you tax-free living expense, up to 4 dependents. So anyways, I applied for that. Never thought I'd mount to anything because I didn't think my grades were good enough. So here come in March, that 1 week in March, we was looking at this farm, and there was a farm at New Cleveland. We decided to buy that. It was more ground than I wanted. It was more money than I thought we had, so I bought the 80-acre farm, stuck my neck out. That same week, our third child was born. Jane was born. And later on that week, I got a letter from Penn State. I was accepted for academic year. Oh, my gosh. You know, got a whole bunch of things happening at once.
Right.
Didn't hardly know what to do, you know. Just bought this farm, you know. And so anyways, you couldn't hardly turn the grant down. So my brothers said they'd help me out. They farmed, Gibb and Dan. They both farmed. So we went to Penn State at the end of school year, looked for housing, and it was just a nightmare. State College, Pennsylvania, it's all college. Rent was really high. The first thing I did is applied for on-campus housing. Said probably wouldn't get it because everybody wants that because it's half price and you live on campus. And so we looked around all around there, and we decided to go to the next town, about 10 miles away. Rent was cheaper, didn't have all that hustle and bustle with the university. So that's where we decided to go. But so we signed up. They said if we get the check in June, you'll have a place to live here. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. We had 3 kids then. We had 3 kids about as fast as you could have them.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, when we got the July bank statement back, the canceled check wasn't on there. I didn't make too much out of it. But when the August bank statement came, said, and no canceled check was on there, I began to wonder, hey, what's going on here? So I called them. They said, we never got your check. And you can't live here now because we're full. Oh, my, school's starting in a couple of weeks. We have no place to live. So, would you know, the Lord helped us out then. About the next day, got a letter in the mail, accepted for on-campus housing. So, we got the cheap housing.
Yeah.
One thing I neglected to say, which I should say since this is a Catholic radio station, when I went to St. Joe's, I leaned on the Lord pretty hard. I went to Mass every single day, never missed a day, never. When I went to Penn State, they had Mass on campus, great big university. They had Mass on campus. I don't remember what time, it was like 11 or 12 in the mornings there, or late mornings. And I went to Mass every day when I went to Penn State. I did very, very well at Penn State. I could have stayed there as a grad assistant, but I thought I had to get back to the farm. So went back to the farm, and then I was a teacher again. So I taught the next 8 years at Lipsick. And what happened then after 8 years, in 1978, my dad had this little ag business, my dad and my mom, just them two. He died very suddenly, July the 20th. And after he's buried, I asked my mom what she's going to do with the business. She said she thought close the doors. I thought maybe I should be doing that. So I quit my job, thought I knew what I was doing, didn't have a clue. After a couple of years, I said, if we're going to stay in business, we have to blend. So one thing led to the next. And the next year, we bought a used floater, hired a neighbor kid, Dale Neese, he still works for us. And one thing led to the next, and here we are today. We have about 10 employees. So quite an adventure in my life, right?
That's quite an adventure, absolutely. It sounds like you had a little certain events happen along the way that kind of go this way. Now go this way. Now go this way, right?
Major changes. I
Yeah.
mean, big time changes. But like I said, I had that farmer in me. I couldn't hardly get that out of my blood. And so we're in the middle of the ag business over there at Glandorf. And a lot of people know where it is. Like I said, we have about 10 of us working over there now every day. So, but yeah, that's kind of the story. Kind of a wild story, big swings in my life.
Right. Yeah, and your faith played a major part in that to keep you grounded and everything else. I mean, nowadays I wonder if I'm sure there probably is Mass still available over there at Penn State, but I bet it's not not what it used to be.
Yeah, they had it right on campus, about right in the middle of campus. They had it was I don't know, maybe a room that seat maybe hold maybe 70, 80 people, you know. They had Mass every day. So, and we went to Sunday church there. They had an auditorium where they'd have it at Sunday church at Penn State.
Okay.
But I remember reading back then, it was the 4th largest university in the United States. It's a big place.
Yeah.
We stopped there, about 3 years ago. We went through Pennsylvania, and I didn't hardly recognize anything anymore. I recognized the old Main, but I mean, everything's changed. Where we lived was all gone. It was all dorms and stuff, you know, where we lived. None of that stuff was there. We lived in duplexes. And I drove around campus a little bit. I didn't recognize anything. So I guess things do change in 50 years, right?
Time does march on, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So, Leo, how did you get involved with Holy Family Radio?
That's a good question. What happened, I didn't say this part of the story either. We lived in an old house when we bought that farm. We bought that farm with a livable house on. And we fixed it up a little bit ourselves, things I could do myself. I laid some carpet down myself, and we didn't have any money, you know, I did as cheap as we could. But in 1979, we built a new house. Because what our old house needed, it needed a new kitchen, needed a new bathroom, utility room, didn't have a garage on it, and the foundation was bad too. So we needed all that stuff. So I thought instead of fixing all that stuff there, we're 2/3 or 3/4 of the way to the new house, so we just built a new house in 1979. And what happened, I was always had a lot of energy, and my energy level was slipping. And I told my wife Rita that, you know, I don't have the energy I used to have. I was in my mid-50s, and it was after Christmas. We just moved in our house right before Christmas. The Saturday after Christmas, Rita shows up at work with my 2 daughters and said, "You're going to the hospital."
Oh, my.
That's what I said. I said, "No." I said, "They're just going to charge me $1,000 and tell me I'm getting older."
Yeah.
But I said, "I'll go then," so to keep him happy. So I went. And it almost happened that way. Went to the hospital. Doctor looked at me a little bit, and he said, "Oh," he said, "I see a little bit." But he said, "I don't really see a lot." And he said, this was on a Saturday afternoon. And he said, there was a heart doctor in the hospital, Eric Fisher. And he said, "I'll have him look at you." So pretty soon he come over there and talked to him for a while. And he said, "I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll keep you overnight. Tomorrow we'll do the heart catheterization. Then we'll know for sure." They did that heart catheterization the next day. They seen all that blockage. I had 5 heart bypass surgeries the very next day, the absolute next day.
Mm-hmm.
I was all plugged up. I was dead there, and I didn't know it.
Oh, my.
That would explain the lack of energy.
Yep. So anyways, after it was over, they asked me if I wanted to go to rehab at the hospital. I said, "No." I said, "I'll take care of it myself." So when I was at home, I start walking. We had that new house with a full basement. There wasn't nothing in it.
Mm-hmm.
I start walking from corner to corner, back and forth, a couple times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept doing it harder. We had a doctor appointment. I said, "I can do a lot more. Can I do more?" He said, "Sure, do whatever." I just kept doing it harder and harder. Pretty soon I was walking one way, running the next way. And I was building myself up. I was exercising 3 times a day. And I just kept getting stronger and stronger. So this happened. The heart bypass was December 29th. I didn't go back to work till March. And I only started in the afternoons.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept exercising, kept getting stronger. And the other thing I did, I prayed my rosaries when I exercise. I still do that today.
Mm.
So I pray the rosaries every day when I exercise.
Mm.
So when the season hit, I got out of the office. If the secretary had questions on the computer how to do things, she'd ask me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that anymore. I run the loader. I worked in the shop. I walked away from all that stuff. I don't do any of that stuff today. I do not have a smartphone. I have a flip phone. So I'm that kind of guy. I walked away from all that stuff.
You sound like a peaceful kind of guy nowadays, huh?
I guess, like I said,
Left those responsibilities behind and
I did.
focused on keeping it simple, huh?
Yep.
Excuse me. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you're listening to Holy Family Radio Spring Spirit Drive here at the Holy Family Radio in our new studios. We're talking to Leo Schrader, our past board president. You can call to help us stay on the air and tell more stories like this, more stories of faith and perseverance at 888-287-0655. That's 888-287-0655. 888-287-0655. You can also text the word GIVE to 419-969-3255, 419-969-3255 to get a link to donate to our online secure page. You can also go to our website, holyfamilyradio.fm. You can also use our mobile app. We have a donate button right there. It takes you to the same place, all to make your donation to keep us on the air going and growing, as I like to say. So our underwriter, by the way, for this hour is the Mustard Seed, the gift shop here in Glandorf. I want to thank them for their longtime support. That is a great place to go for First Communion gifts and others. I like to go there quite frequently because that is the place to go for some Catholic specific gifts and other, like cards, for example. That's the place I go to find ordination cards and really some specific different sorts of gifts and ideas that you might not find anywhere else. So I want to thank them over there for their support, longtime support at the Mustard Seed Gift Shop on Church Street here in Glandorf. Not more than, what do you say, 100, 200 yards away from where we're sitting right now?
What, the church?
The Mustard Seed.
Oh, yeah. Mustard Seed's very close.
Yep. So not too far away. So
You can come visit us and visit the Mustard Seed.
that's right. That's right.
It is open house week, so to speak, here at Holy Family Radio. If you're interested in seeing the new studios, just come on by. We're attached to St. John the Baptist Preschool.
The parish center and the preschool there too.
Yeah, the parish center. So check us out if you like. We would love to see you, and we would love to receive your donation either in person, via our website, holyfamilyradio.fm, or the app, as Deacon Jeff mentioned, or give us a call at 888-287-0655. You can also text the word GIVE to 419-969-3255. Again, that text number is 419-969-3255, and the phone number, toll-free, to make a donation is 888-287-0655. We'd like to hear that phone ring. We haven't heard it ring in a while, and we'd love to ring the bell for a new donor.
That's absolutely right. So, yeah, this is our one time a year that we interrupt programming for you to give you an opportunity to help sow a seed into this ministry. Normally you're hearing the Mass at this time, and unfortunately we have to interrupt it so that we can continue to offer you programming like the Mass, the daily Mass here on Holy Family Radio. It's part of what makes us Catholic, in fact. It doesn't make for great radio, but it does help for folks to understand, to participate if you're remote. And we learned all that during sort of COVID stuff, right? What it means to be remote and, to do things via video and all that. So that's why we have it. It's what makes us distinctly Catholic in many, many ways. So that's why we have that. And we would rather not do this if we could have, all the funding and all the grants and everything else to keep us on the air, but that's not the case. We're 100% listener supported.
I'm gonna give you a special incentive to give.
Oh, okay.
I'll match dollar for dollar for every dollar that's given, up to $1,000 for the next hour.
For the next hour.
Fantastic.
Okay.
So any dollar that's given, I'll match it dollar for dollar.
Okay.
All right, listeners, the gauntlet
challenge has been put out.
The glove has been thrown down. The challenge has been issued. Give us a call at 888-287-0655 and make your best donation.
That's right, because it's doubled.
Yeah, and it'll be doubled by our guest, Leo Schrader, up to $1,000 over the next hour. So pick up that phone right now, 888-287-0655.
Or online too. I get notifications about those online donations here on my laptop right here in front of me. So I'll be tracking those as well. So however you want to make that donation, it will be doubled now for the next hour, up to $1,000. So this is your opportunity. That $10 a month donation that I talked about before, recurring donation, that gets doubled. So that $120 becomes $240, and it's a great, great way to make things happen. The phones have started ringing. Thanks be to God. Thank you for that phone call. The opportunity is for you to do that now. 888-287-0655. You can also text the word GIVE to 419-969-3255.
If you get a busy signal, just call back later,
Yep.
Or you can choose one of the alternative ways to give, holyfamilyradio.fm, or our app, Holy Family Radio, available on both Google Play and the App Store. And, of course, you can always text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 419-969-3255. We're speaking in studio here with Leo Schrader, former board president of Holy Family Radio. Leo, why don't you tell our listeners, were you involved from the very beginning of Holy Family Radio, or did you get interested a little bit later?
Well, my involvement starts pretty early. What happened to me, I like talk radio. And when I went in my pickup truck going someplace, I would listen to talk radio or maybe a baseball game or something. But I like talk radio. And what happened, I don't know the year. I'm guessing maybe about the late 90s. I got that station out of Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay.
Ave Maria, 990 AM.
Mm-hmm.
And I could get them in my pickup truck radio. So I start listening to those guys all the time. And pretty soon I couldn't get them anymore. So what I did, I got internet radio. You know, back then you could buy that subscription for internet radio. So then I could get EWTN radio in my pickup. So that got me going on it. And Tom Dydring, Tom and Marianne, they spearheaded this radio station. And he started talking to us. What happened then, we would meet on Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. before 8:30 Mass. We'd talk for an hour about different things. Tom showed up a couple of times, talked about Catholic radio. And when he started to put things together a little bit, he needed a board. So he asked myself and Greg Schrader and John Recker to be on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it all started. But Tom, he spearheaded this. And what happened, he applied for that license 88.9. And when it was granted, he got it for free for a 1,000-watt station.
Mm-hmm.
He immediately appealed it to go for 2,000 watts, but it was denied. And I don't know who told him that maybe they should apply for a town south of us.
Okay, yeah.
So he applied the same thing, didn't change a thing of the antenna, anything, only applied as Glandorf, and it was accepted for 2,000 watts. That's how it started. So then Tom he bought that construction trailer where we still have our transmitter there. He bought a used tower, and what it was is just a bunch of pieces. So we had to get this thing put together. So what we did, we took that bottom section of the tower and we put it together in our shop.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we did that, because it's a 3-legged tower, and there's 4 bolts, 4 anchors in each leg. So we made a template. Them four anchors, they had to be the exact right rotation. If you rotate it, the bolts wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
Like them anchors, I don't know what they were, 4 or 6 feet long. Inch bolts, every one of them, 4 on each leg.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, we made that template in our shop. Then we had a break that year in January. We had a warm spell, maybe 10 days. Tony Meyer with his hi-ho went out there, and we put the foundation of the tower in.
Okay.
Made it 11 foot deep, used sonotubes for each leg, used a template to put them big anchors in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was about 4 of us. I took a couple guys from work with Tony Meyer, and we poured that footer, or that for the tower to set on.
Yeah.
So then we was ready to go. So when we put the tower up, I think we put it up in July. We used all volunteers. Myself, a couple guys from work. I know Don Lammers, who all helped. But we put each section together. We knew how it went together then. You know, we had practice with this first.
Mm-hmm.
So we put the tower up. The antenna was a directional antenna. We did it all in one day because we had all them sections put together beforehand.
Yeah.
So all the crane had to do was lift them up. And we had 2 steeplejacks from Michigan. They
Okay.
bolted that stuff together.
Yeah.
Like I said, all this stuff. And the financing, how this all came about, was we went to the parish. We got permission from Bishop Blair then to to go to the parish and solicit. I thought myself, who's going to give on a 2-minute talk at the end of on the end of Mass?
Yeah.
When we started to do that, I couldn't believe how much money we got. The very first parish we did was Glandorf. I can't remember the exact number, but it was like $15,000. I just couldn't believe it. I was floored. So when we went on the air, we bought a used transmitter. We got a used dish. It was all satellite then. And when we went on the air debt-free.
Yeah.
I think it cost us like $125,000. Annunciation, when they went on the air, cost them $500,000.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we did it. We saved every way we could,
Yeah.
and that's how we got going.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, then we bought.
Yeah.
We tried to buy a station in Cridersville when that came for. Were you here when we tried to buy that?
Yeah, I was. That in fact, I remember that they had an auction
Yes.
for new frequencies.
Yes.
This was back in not 19, my gosh, 2000 and let me think about this. 2009 or 2000? No, wait, no.
We were on the air.
We were on the air in 2010. This was 2011
We
or 12.
wanted bigger presence in Lima. is
Yeah,
what
we
wanted.
did. Yeah, and Cridersville was one of the communities of license that
Yeah.
was available. So we went to go bid on that, and we had our budget for that, and it took it 2 minutes to go way past that number.
I think it sold for $250,000,
It was a lot of money.
and we were out of the business.
That's right. And in fact, if anybody wants to know it, I can't remember the frequency, but it's a K-Love station there in Cridersville.
Yeah.
So anyhow.
And we tried another one too. We tried that one 88.9 at Toledo.
Yep.
We was in the bidding for that too,
Yep.
but I'm thinking that sold for $500,000.
It did sell for $500,000. Yes.
We're out of business there.
We're out of we're out of luck there too.
Our station's a little more humble than that. Yeah.
But what happened, we got this Ada station, and we got that bought, I think, at a reasonable price.
Yes.
They wanted to sell, and we wanted to buy. It never went on the market for sale.
Right.
We made an offer, and they accepted it.
Yep.
And we asked our radio engineer what we should offer.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave us a suggestion, and that's what we offered.
Yep.
But it took every single cent we had. We had some money saved up.
Yep.
Took every single cent.
Pretty darn close to, yes, exactly. And when it happened, right?
Yes. I don't know what year it was anymore.
I can tell you what it was, because you want to talk about kind of like bad timing in many ways. We closed on that deal in April of 2020. So what happened in March of 2020? Pandemic. Everything shut down in the middle of March.
Yeah.
So we closed on that transaction on April 20th, I think, of 2020. So I was by myself in the studio over there, and no one was around. We didn't have a Spring Spirit Drive that year.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we did. We had a little one where it was just Connie Recker and myself at the studio, where I just kind of did something for a few minutes every hour, and to keep things going, because it's like, hold on a second, we just bought this radio station, and in fact we were one of only 3 in the country Catholic radio stations to expand that year, and so we were very lucky, very fortunate to have that. But it was a trying time.
And you know what the other thing that happened, we was thinking about moving that translator in Findlay. We bought that translator a couple years before that
Yeah.
in Findlay. It's a very small station. We was thinking about moving that to Fostoria.
Yeah.
But then we had the opportunity. You might as well tell the story, Jeff. You know it a lot better than I do about how we got the Fostoria license.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to sell our Findlay station
Mm-hmm.
because it's covered very well by Ada.
Right. Yeah. The story with that is that in November of 2021, the FCC had another auction of available licenses for non-commercial broadcasters only. So not commercial radio stations, but non-commercial broadcasters like ourselves. And so I didn't know about this auction that was in November until late September. Okay, and I chance got a mailing from someone, I think Sacred Heart Radio down in Cincinnati. A person that was involved with them sent a letter to say, hey, this is available. So I went to the board and said, hey, you want to check this out or not? Because it's going to cost us some money to even just explore it, for an engineer to kind of look to see what's available. Because here, it wasn't like there was community of licenses available to pick from. These you had to go find. Okay, so we searched a lot of different opportunities. We looked at Mercer County. We want to kind of expand down there, a highly Catholic area, and in other areas, and nothing was available down there, but there was one available in Fostoria frequency, and then Van Wert, as we went through, and so we went and applied for those two licenses. And in January of 2022, we found out that we were granted the license for Fostoria, 90.9 FM. And then I think it was November of last year, November 2022, we found out that we were granted the license for Van Wert. Now that took longer because there was another non-commercial broadcaster who applied for a license for Delphus. So Delphus and Van Wert are close together, so we can't both be together there on the same frequency, basically. So because we had fewer radio stations than them, they had 17 and we had 2.5 basically, because I count Findlay as kind of like as a half. We won. The little guy wins in that respect. So that's how we got those. And once again, we can only be able to do those sorts of things through donations, through frugal and prudent spending, of what it is that we need to do to keep things going and to offer what we can. But really it's just those financial donations to be able to do that.
And Deacon Jeff, you've spoken in the past about the fact that without those funds sitting in the pot, so to speak,
yes,
you and the board are not able to move on these opportunities when they come up, or at least rarely. And that's a great example of it. You had to get moving immediately to explore those opportunities and then to ultimately make bids for them.
Yeah.
So that's why your donations, listeners, are so critical. Give us a call at 888-287 0655. That's 888-287-0655. I'm happy to report we have yet another new donor.
Yes. Yay. Oh, that's fantastic. I love it.
This is someone from St. Rose Parish down in Lima.
Okay.
So
wonderful.
Again, we're always thrilled to see the expanding listening area coming back and saying that they value Catholic radio so much that they want to participate. They want to join us in this apostolate. So thank you so much to that new donor. Thank you to recurring donors. We appreciate you. You can give us a call at 888-287-0655 or text the word GIVE to 419-969-3255. That's 419-969-3255. You can also donate at holyfamilyradio.fm or go to our app, the Holy Family Radio app, available in both the Google Play Store as well as the App Store for Apple users.
That's right. We still have the matching fund.
Yes.
Mr. Schrader is sitting here. He's ready to write us a check, but hey, we have to match that in order to be able to get that check. So 888-287-0655. That's 888-287-0655. The phone just rang again. Thank you to that caller. We need more callers and online donors because there is money available to be matched. 888-287-0655. 888-287-0655.
Your donation up to $1,000 will be matched by our guest, Leo Schrader. So take advantage of the opportunity to have your dollar be $2, your 10 be 20, your 500
become 1,000.
Become 1,000.
I like
exactly.
that.
So whatever your best donation is deeply, deeply appreciated. If that's $5, it all adds up with other folks who are able to give $5 or $10 or $20. If you're able to do it on a recurring basis, monthly, that is extremely helpful. to this radio station because it provides a predictability of
Yeah.
income and sustains the radio station through our next Spirit Drive in 2024. So, but if one time is all that works for you, if that's what your best donation is, we deeply appreciate that. Give us a call at 888-287-0655 or text GIVE to 419-969-3255.
Yep, we got an online donation that came in just a couple minutes ago. I want to thank that person for that. So we're getting closer to the full match for the $1,000 funds that Leah has put up for us. So
Thank you.
keep calling,
Yeah.
keep donating, please. Thank you.
Yes, Leo has made the generous offer to match your funds over the next, what would it be now, 45 minutes maybe, 45 approximately, up to $1,000. So give us a call, 888-287-0655. While we're chatting here in studio with Leo Schrader, former president of the board of Holy Family Radio, and really involved. He was just sharing with us his involvement since the very inception. You know, the building of that tower and putting it out there in the Lipsick area, where it still sits today. There's great pictures of that in the old studio. Maybe we can bring those here to the new studio, but I always love looking at those each year.
Yeah, so we're coming up close to the end of the hour, Leo. So now is the time to think about perhaps what is some of the final words you'd like to let us know about before we let you go, because we're going to talk to a very interesting guest next.
Well, I think Catholic radio is a great way for us to fulfill our obligation to evangelize. We're all called to evangelize, to spread the word of God. That's everyone's responsibility. And Catholic radio is a very easy way for people to do that. I know a lot of us can't go and stand on the street corners and whatever, but this apostolate, Catholic radio, reaches a lot of people, more people than we know of, and has a great impact on their life. So this is the easy way to evangelize, is to give to Catholic radio.
Yep. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. It really is. It's a great way to fulfill, in many ways, it's an obligation, right, to evangelize.
Yes.
So it's part of our baptismal and confirmational call, as I've heard Lincoln say many, many times.
Yeah, Jesus said, go into the whole world, tell the whole world.
That's right.
So we're trying to do that right here.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. We're going to try and share some stories as we go throughout this Spirit Drive to talk about all the ways that, all the things that we've been able to do as a radio station, and including we have numerous testimonies of people who tell us they've come back to the church or they've entered the church, and Holy Family Radio, they credit Holy Family Radio for being a big part of that. So, you know, when you support this radio station, you play a part in that. So I see in the window we've got another new donor, so let's ring the bell for the new donor. That's fantastic. I'm fairly confident that we are going to set a new record for new donors this year, and that's going to make me so happy to hear that, and so to let everybody know that, you know, this is the Spring Spirit Drive here on Holy Family Radio. We've got to go to break to get to our next guest. Our next guest will be Sister Mary Kuhlman, who is the executive director of Sisters in Shelter.
It's my niece.
And over there in Tiffin, and she deals with human trafficking over there with young ladies. So just very interested to talk to her. I think it'll be interesting. So please stay with us. We are going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be here with our next guest.
I want to thank my niece for that donation. So she just made a donation from Lakeview.
Oh, fantastic. And we do reach down to Lakeview, Russell's Point down there in that area with 94.9. So we reach a wide area. And so just realize that. So we're going to go to a break. And thank you, Leo, for being here today.
Okay.
Very good. Very appreciative of you and your time and all the work you've done for Holy Family Radio over the years. So with that, we're going to go to a break. And that's the same break I played earlier. I don't want to do that again.
Give us a call, 888-287-0655. That's 888-287-0655. If you're a new donor, we'll ring the bell for you. If you're a recurring donor, we'll send you, nonetheless, just as much thanks and appreciation. You can also text the word GIVE to 419-969-3255. 419-969-3255. If you text the word GIVE to that number, you'll receive a link to make your donation that way.
All right.
All right, we're going to go to break. Thank you, Leo. And when we come back from the break, we will be speaking with Sister Mary Kuhlman. This is Holy Family Radio.